Hi everybody, this is Oliver. We are learning algebra by working through many problems from the Larson textbook. We're doing section 1.5, which is about using a problem-solving plan. We're doing practice C today. So let's start. First problem, your stamp collection consists of 145 stamps. Each stamp has either a cancellation mark, so cancellation mark, or no cancellation mark. There are 93 more stamps with cancellation marks than stamps without cancellation marks. Let x be the number of stamps with cancellation marks. So this is x, this is y. The collection consists of 145 stamps, so x plus y equals 145. And then there are 93 more stamps with cancellation marks than stamps without cancellation marks. So stamps with cancellation marks, so that's x. So x equals whatever y is plus 93, right? Because there are 93 more stamps with cancellation marks than stamps without cancellation marks. So whatever without cancellation marks, y, plus 93 to get x, or stamps with cancellation marks. So that's what we get, two equations with two unknowns. We have to, okay, so we have to correctly model the situation, and we have A, B, and C. So one of these three is the answer, and all the answers, as we can see, have x's. We don't have y. So what we have to do is we have to, and then 145 is at the end. So we have to actually represent this equation, the first one. We have to, the second one, we have to get y, what y equals to. So y equals to x is on the other side, and then plus 93 will be minus 93 on the other side. So this is what y equals from the second equation. We have to plug in this for y in the first one. So we get x plus x minus 93 equals 145. And then clearly we can see that the answer is C. Okay. In exercises 2 and 3, write an equation that you can use to solve the problem. You do not need to solve the problem, so we just have to write the equation. Your soccer team has raised $400 for cleats and shin guards. It will cost $41.50 for each of the 15 players to have a pair of cleats and shin guards. How much more money will each player have to pay to cover the cost? All right, so this can be represented as 400 has been raised plus how much more has to be paid to get the cost, which is 4150 times 15. This is the total cost, right? This is the total cost. This is the amount raised, and this is what we need to pay more to pay. So this can be represented as some number x or y or z, or right, but then this cost has to be split into 15 players because it says how much each player has to pay. So this can be represented as 15 times, let's say, x. Okay, so this is the equation. Another way you can write this is find the total cost, so 4150 times 15, so that's the total cost, minus 400 is what you have to pay extra, and then divide that by 15 to split it into 15 players to find out the cost per player. Okay, so this is also x. This will give you x, and then this is the equation. Both equations are correct. Okay. You can actually derive this equation from this equation. All right. Number 3, you're putting tile on part of the walls in your kitchen. You're using a combination of plain and decorative tiles. Here we have plain and decorative tiles. You need to use a total of 500 tiles, and you want to use 3 times as many plain tiles as decorative tiles. How many of each kind of tile will you need? Okay, so we have plain and we have decorative tiles. Let's say plain is x, decorative is y. we're using a total of 500 tiles. So x plus y, when you sum up the tiles, the plain and decorative is 500, right? That's the total number of tiles. And we want to use 3 times as many plain tiles as decorative tiles. So decorative is less, right? So x is 3 times y, right? Decorative is less. We are multiplying the decorative times 3 to get the plain, because we want to use 3 times as many plain tiles as decorative. So this is a system of 2 equations with 2 unknowns. X is represented as 3y. So we can plug in 3y for x in the first one, and we get 3y plus y equals 500. And for 2 and 3, we don't have to solve the problem, right? So we just have to write the equation, and that's pretty much the equation right here to get the decorative tiles. For y equals 500 or y equals 125, and then you can get what, 375 for x, but we don't have to solve it, so we can move on. In exercises 4 and 5, write the formula that is needed to solve the problem and identify the values of the variables that are given. You do not need to solve the problem, okay? You're traveling 250 miles to your friend's house. It takes you 5 hours to get there. What was your average speed? The formula we're going to use is d equals r times t. D is the distance traveled, which is 250 miles. Takes you 5 hours, so that's t. So d is 250 miles, and then t is 5 hours. Okay, then r, you have to solve for r, which would be d over t. And we just have to plug in the numbers. Number 5, we just write in the formula, right? Number 5, the savings account in which you initially invested $250 has earned $30 simple interest. Simple interest can be represented as PRT. You initially invested $250, so that's P. So P is $250. $30 simple interest, so I is $30 in 5 years. So T is 5 years. What is the interest rate? R. You have to find R. So R would be I over PT. Okay, you just have to substitute the values to get R. Number 6. Party. You're responsible for buying the frozen lasagna for an upcoming birthday party. Each package of lasagna costs $7.99 and serves 8. You need to buy enough packages so that each person can have 2 servings. There will be 17 people at the picnic. How many packages do you need? What is the total cost? Okay, so let's see where we can write this, maybe to the right here. Okay, so we have 17 people. So 17 people, and then each person can have 2 servings. So 17 times 2, and then divide that into 8. This is the number of packages. So number of packages, and I'll explain why. Number of packages, and then times the cost per package, which is $7.99, equals total cost. So this is total cost. This is cost per package. Okay, so there will be 17 people. We know that each package serves 8 people. Serves 8 or 8 servings. Okay, but we have 17 people, and each person can have 2 servings. So 17 times 2 is 34. So 34 servings divided by 8 servings, we get the number of packages. Now, if this is a decimal, we have to get to the next whole number, right? Because we can't buy half package, right? Because when you go to the store, you buy 1, 2, 3 whole packages. You don't buy 1/4 or half package. It doesn't work like that. So let's see, 17 times 2 is 34 divided by 8. That's 4 point something. So this is actually going to be 5. Okay, so this is going to turn out to 5 packages because we can buy 3.4 packages, right? So this will be 5 because 5 times 8 is 40 and this is 34, so that works fine. And then times 7.99 per package. 5 times 8 is 40 minus the 5 cents here, so this is 39.95 total cost. Okay, why? Because 5 times 8 is 40 and we have to subtract 5 cents from 40 because there's 1 cent here less, but times 5 is 5 cents less than 40. Okay, so that's the total cost, 39.95. And then how many packages do you need? We need 5 packages because 17 times 2 is 34. 34 divided by 8 is 4 point something. Well, we can buy 4 point something. So let's see. 17 times 2 is 34. 34 divided by 8 is 4.25, right? So we can buy 4.25 packages. So we round to the next whole package, which is 4.25 to 5. So this is the number of packages needed, and that's the total cost. Number 7, temperature. Last year, the low temperature in your town was 32 Fahrenheit. The high temperature for the year was 3 times this temperature. What were last year's high and low temperatures in degrees Celsius? Round your answer to the nearest tenth of a degree. Celsius, so the formula for Celsius is 5/9 Fahrenheit minus 32. Okay, and then the low temperature was 32 Fahrenheit, so 32 minus 32 is 0. 0 times any number is 0, so it's 0 degrees Celsius. That was the low temperature. And then the high temperature was 3 times that temperature, so the Fahrenheit would be 32 times 3, or that would be 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Now the Celsius for that would be 5/9 times F would be 96, so 96 minus 32. 96 minus 32 is 64 times 64. So when we plug in that in the calculator, we have 5 times 64 divided by 9, 35. So this is 35.55555, or round your answer to the nearest tenth. So 35.55 would be 35.6 degrees Celsius. So that's the low temperature. That's the high temperature in Celsius. Okay. And number 8, painting. You and your friend are painting a 150-foot long fence. You start at opposite ends at the same time. Okay. So let's see if we can represent this. So this is the fence. It's a 150 feet long fence. You start here, and your friend starts from here. You start at opposite ends, right? You paint the fence at a rate of 175 feet. So your rate is 1.75 feet per minute, and your friend paints at a rate of 1.25 feet per minute. How long will it take you to complete the fence? How far from your beginning point will each of you be? Okay. All right. So we know that the formula for distance traveled is d equals rt. So we know the distance. So let's say after some time they meet at some point, and then at that point this would be x, and this here would be 150 minus x, right? And so for you, the formula would be the distance traveled, which will be in your case is x, right? So x equals the rate of painting is 1.75 times t. Okay, and then for the other person, for your friend, the formula would be d equals same r times t, but the distance would be 150 minus x equals r is 125 times t. Now, the time when they meet will be the same, right? If you go for 30 minutes and then he goes for 30 minutes, then you meet, but it's not going to be at the half because you're painting faster. So the expectation is you're going to travel more, you're going to cover more area of painting the fence, right? You would have painted more than your friend because you're going faster. So, but you would have met at the same time. So t is the same. So t here would be x over 1.75, and then t here is 150 minus x over 1.25. The time is the same. So if you equal these two equations, you're going to get x over 1.75 equals 150 minus x over 1.25. So here we cross multiply, so 1.25x equals cross multiply 150 times 175 and then minus 1.75x. Now this minus 1.75x on the other side will be plus 1.75x. So 1.75x plus 1.25x, that is 3x equals, and then 150 times right here, 150 times 1.75, we get 262.5, or x equals 262.5 divided by 3, or that is 87.5, and this is in feet. So you would have covered 87.5 feet, and then your friend would have covered 150 minus 87.5. So 150 minus 87.5, or that is 62.5 feet. So that's what your friend would have covered. This is what you would have covered, and that is correct. The expectation is that you would have covered more fence because you're painting faster than your friend. Okay, so how far from your beginning point will each of you be? So you would be 87.5 feet from your starting point, and then your friend will be 62.5 feet from his starting point. Okay, and how long will it take you to complete the fence? You have to find the time, and x is 87.5. So 87.5 right here, 87.5 over 1.75. So let's see, 87.5 divided by 1.75, we get 50, so 50 minutes. Okay, so that's the time, that's A, and then B is, as we said, 87.5 feet and 62.5 feet for you and your friend respectively. So that's all for today. So please, if you'd like to see more videos, please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.